The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome once again on Connect Easy. We have a great speaker, orator, and a wonderful profile holder with us. She has taken a multiple session on our present topic and in multiple cities, we can say. CA Swati Panchal, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Heads off to your dedication. Despite you are traveling and you are at airport and you are flying soon, you are ready to take this session. You've taken all the care. You've reached early and also done with your all the security check-in and everything, and you are now ready to deliver a session. It's a really great moment for all of us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. Now, without wasting much time, I would like to introduce you. Would like to request everyone who is watching on YouTube and LinkedIn to connect with ma'am on social media and particularly on LinkedIn as a professional network. So CA Swati Panchal ma'am is a co-founder at Gen Z CFO, partner at Panchal SK and Associate. She is a writer by passion. She is also an anchor, media mentor, public speaker, resource person, consultant, and a qualified independent director. And this is just a brief introduction. It's so much to learn from you, ma'am. You are also a mother and dedicatedly doing wonderful, great effort for the profession. So thank you so much. And with this brief introduction, I would like to request you to share your screen and take the ahead our today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Virag. So we will make it interactive. So members, if you have any questions, you can just refer the, I think, questions panel or chat box, right? So I can read questions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So in this 40 minutes, I would like to speak on the bank audit planning and IRAC norms. So I think most of us are doing each and statutory audit or bank concurrent audit, revenue audit. So many of times if we consider for the bank branch audit, so if I speak on the bank audit planning, so what are the stages that we need to consider? And first of all, in the bank audit planning, we all are waiting for the appointment letter. Mostly the SBI and all the banks have started allotting the appointment letters. So in the appointment letter, I have just summarized in this PPT. This is the video version of the PPT, where it will give you the walkthrough about from appointment letter and the what appointment letter includes and what are the stages for the bank audit planning. Likewise, we have to prepare first of all the audit strategy, and after that audit strategy, we need to plan for the audit program. Because in audit program, if we refer the latest CAQ, Center on Audit Quality templates, so it's also very helpful to us. So CAQ templates, I think each and everyone is supposed to refer, where the bank audit planning about the appointment letter, uh, and after that how many partners that are willing doing the bank audit, about the semi-qualified staffs that are doing the bank audit. So let me just go through my one of PPT. Is it visible to each and everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Participants are requested to post their reply in the question tab.
So first of all, if we check on the bank audit planning, so we also need to refer first of all the RBI guidelines and the closing circular latest if there is amendment. So if I would like to say in case of the IRAC norms, presently there are no changes in the IRAC norms, and also into the LFAR also there are no changes. So for example, on receipt of appointment letter, what you will check further? First of all, on the appointment letter, you will verify about the branch and region. First of all, you will verify the branch, which branch has been allotted, and who is the statutory central auditors for that, and is there any specific guidelines by the statutory central auditors to you. Also the audit procedures and the procedural requirements for that. And everyone, I think, send the NOC to previous auditor, right? And for that NOC to previous auditor, how many of us save that screenshot also of email? Because many of times what happens, our forms are getting merged, or that we presently don't use the email ID, might be due to the different merger of anything. So if you are sending the NOC to the previous auditor, then also you have to save that screenshot as well. And also you have to prepare the KYC of the branch, which branch that you have been allotted. For example, many of times we do not remember before 3 years which branch has been allotted. If we have the documentation of that branch, many of times we don't have the contact number and email ID of that respective branch. So it's always advisable to have and carry the email ID, contact number of branch manager, and also the detailed document KYC of that respective branch. Also on appointment letter, we will verify whether what is our scope, only to do the LFAR, also the tax audit, and which are the certificates that is applicable uh, for this branch. Because many of times if we see the tax audit is not applicable, it's not been into the branch level presently. So these are the points that we need to consider into the appointment letter. If I talk further regarding the bank audit planning, so we are supposed to prepare the audit strategy document, because each and every branch has the different quality of the assets. Maybe many are dealing with to the MSME, many branches are dealing with the NPA accounts, many of the branches are dealing with the ARC work, that is the asset reconstructions companies work, pooling of data of NPA, or so which type of branch it is, and what would be the our audit strategy into. So audit strategy document is very much important. After that, the audit planning, audit program. So how audit program that we are going to prepare, maybe the resource, the number of days visit that they have made, about various checklist, that requirement that we have shared, about the all the LFAR points and audit checklist points has been worked out by which partner or our semi-qualified assistants. And also we have to keep the audit trail journey as well, because many of times what happen, if we are mentioning the bank respective account number into the LFAR one, but we don't have the audit documentations if we are putting up any adverse or adverse remark on it. So we also need to make sure that the audit program has been properly articulated, properly has been drafted, and it covers all the point. As I said, there has been latest changes by the Central Audit Quality, CAQ by ICI. Control on Audit Quality has developed one utility that also I am going to share with you. And many of times we also have to check the confirmations and reconciliations. So into the bank audit planning, you are supposed to on the sample basis as well, about the confirmations with the other bank audit, other reconciliations with the account with the RBI or other bank, whether you have taken or not. Again, the audit documentation as well, because audit documentation is only the key and relevant part that will save us from the PRB and QRB. If later on, after 3 years into the peer review cycle, if the peer review board, peer reviewer is coming to you, and if you are not getting any document, then you have not prepared documentations, then it would be little bit risk on your part, because audit documentation is very much important. Now, how many of us take the independent certificate confirmation from your partners and also the article assistants who are performing the audit? because independence confirmation is must as per the SQC1. So many of times we are not taking the independent certificate. By performing the audit, whether the engagement partner and review partner both are independent to carry out these assignments. So we have to take the independent certificate confirmation from partners as well as the semi-qualified staff, article assistants who are performing the audit. So we have to check both the fundamentals part. So the independence confirmation is must, because many of times I am also the peer review, and if I see many of the firms that they are not maintaining independence confirmations, and also you have to check and take assignment wise, not just year wise. So you have to verify and you have to collect independence, the partner wise, assignments wise, not only the yearly one independence confirmations would suffice. So this is all about the bank audit planning that we can do. Now if we further see the stages. So if we further check on the different tasks, like what are the points that we need to consider into the audit planning. So first is the engagement letter, because many of times we see that the engagement letter has not been prepared by the firm. They are just getting the appointment letter. After that, they will send the NOC to the previous auditor and they just start the audit. They don't have the engagement letter itself. But engagement letter is must. The format of engagement letter has been given into the guidance note of the ICAI as well. So we can refer that engagement letter. And engagement letter again need to be signed by branch manager and engagement partner, right? And after that we have to perform and we have to carry out the risk assessment of that branch, because many of the time branches are covered under the RAFIA or RABIA audit, that is the risk based internal control. So we can verify in which category, because in that particularly audit we can review a risk strategy or risk assessment of that branch, because they mention that in that particularly audit report whether the risk element, whether it is the higher risk branch, normal risk, moderate risk branch, or which category of branch it is. So this is very much important, and we can check out and we can carry out the risk assessment, because if it is carrying the higher risk, then we have to again verify it and take the major samples and we have to act accordingly. So the risk assessment of that particularly branch is very much important. And again, for this risk assessment, that RAFIA and RABIA audit report is it would be the supporting document for us, because it will state whether it is the low risk branch or moderate risk branch, or what about it is. If we talk further on the understanding the bank business is very much important, because on starting the internal statutory branch audit, we have to check about the business of that respective branch, and accordingly we can assist our coordinators, our qualified or semi-qualified article assistant as well, about the different circulars respective. For example, if respective branch carrying only the taking the fixed deposits of NRI, so there are different master directions that we need to refer. So accordingly, understanding the bank business is very much important in doing the bank audit planning. After that, definitely we will share the requirement list to the branch manager. And meanwhile, we will also try to get earliest about the auditor ID password, because that is very much relevant. When we visit the branch, from the day one, we will also start checking about on the system whether the interest fed up into the master file or master profile is correct as per sanction letter or not. So many in LFAR also there are so many points that has been need to review into the system. So we have to verify it as per our auditor ID password. So we also have to take the procedures and get the ID password at the earliest. Now, while doing the bank audit planning, we need to verify whether the LFAR 2 is applicable or not, because LFAR 2 is all about the large advances. Because if LFAR 2 is applicable, then you will get from the branch manager detailed report about the party wise details. Party-wise detail is all about where in LFAR2 you have to do the transactions-wise audit. Not only you have to check the text, test and controls, but you have to do the transactions-wise audit into the LFAR2. So LFAR2 is very much relevant, and that planning we need to done. We have to do from initial stage only, because many of times what happen, we are sitting on the 15th April and we came to know that now LFAR2 is applicable. So we cannot be able to verify all thoroughly details about the large advances. So LFAR2 is all about the large advances where branch asset size is more than 100 CR. If the branch asset size is more than 100 CR, then LFAR2 is applicable. And for this LFAR2, for example, 10% of total outstanding, 10% of total outstanding or 10 CR, whichever is less, we have to carry out the transactions wise audit. Let us say, for example, the bank branch having the asset size of 200 CR. So 10% of 200 CR or 10 CR, whichever is less, and below above that figure, we have to compulsory select all that samples, and we have to do the transactions wise audit for that. Now after that we will definitely select the samples for below that. Above that level it is all compulsory, below that we will verify. Now for the sample selection also, in the audit planning we really need to take care whether the sample selected by us carry out whole and it represent all the sample about the populations part. Because if the branch is dealing with vehicle loan, housing finance loan, also like KCC and mortgage, CC credit, all. So we also need to verify all the product has been covered, and also we have to take the sample for the current year sanction as well as earlier year running loan as well. So it's not like that during the year if there are allotment has been made, so we will select the sample from the during the year allotment only. No, we have to select the sample from the outstanding loan account, also of the earlier year as well, and current year sanctions. Also we need to verify whether the range of interest, for example bank is giving the interest charging the interest from 5% to 16% or 20%. So all the category of interest rate product, whether it has been covered or not, that we need to verify. So this is very much important. So after that, we will definitely visit the branch, and we will do the bank audit planning. About the management representations, we will do that. Management representations, many of times we forget and we do not take the management representations. So this is very much important, that management representations that we are taking or not. Because most of the time, what happen? The branch manager denies, or branch manager does not agree to sign on the management representations. Then what we can do in that scenario, we can also do the speed post, and we can take the documentation of that part, but we have to get signed the management representation letter. And many of times if we see some of the points of the LFAR, for example the insurance policies has been mainly at the HO level, it's not at the branch level. So we have to check whether the such type of points, whether the insurance policies at the HO level and has been considered at the into the MRL or not. Because such type of points that has not been reviewed by us, or it's not feasible us to verify at the branch level, we can cover it into the management representations. Now definitely if we check on the finalizations part, then after summary of all the queries, we will finalize our report. And before submitting to the report, we will definitely discuss all the points with the branch manager. Because what happen, many of times the branch manager denies that I am not completely agree with this. So we have to again reaffix our digital signature, because ultimately once we affix the digital signature and the branch manager will fix the digital signature, after that only the report would be blocked. So before finalization of anything, we need to discuss with the branch manager, and after that we can submit. Now what are the further points that we need to reconsider? Again, for example, if we are giving the MOC, that is the Memorandum of Changes, an effect of that account to the respective ledger that we need to check. Because if, for example, if we are giving the MOC, Memorandum of Changes, then we have to verify whether the post trial balance and pre-trial balance before giving the MOC both are different, and the respective accounting entry effect that has been considered and it has been effected into the post trial balance and the balance sheet and P&L that we are signing, it's the only after considering the MOC or not. So such type of points we again need to verify, and we also have to document it. Now after the submission of audit report to the branch, and don't forget to generate the UDIN, because for all the certificate you don't have to generate different UDINs, only one UDIN would be suffice for the audit report and all the certificates. For example, if the tax audit is there, then you can generate different UDIN for the tax audit report, but only one UDIN for the audit report and all the certificates. But for example, if you are signing on the different date, then different UDIN would be there. For example, the certificates has been signed by partner A and main audit report has been signed by partner B, then again two UDINs would be there. After doing all the procedure, the post documentation is also very much important, because what happens, the bank audit has been needs to be carried out in a very short span. So after that also, for example, if we are giving the advance remark to the particularly respective accounts, then we need to verify whether we have documented uh, properly or not.
Ma'am, are you there? So friends, please wait. Ma'am is joining soon. Yes, ma'am, we can see your screen.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay, now voice is coming, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
perfect. Please go ahead.
okay, okay. So now we have just gone through about the bank audit planning, that these are the points that we really need to consider into the bank audit planning. Now if we check upon the IRAC norms, IRAC norms IRCAP is all about the income recognition, asset classifications and provisioning. Presently there is no change compared to the previous year. So IRAC norms compared to the last notifications of 2023 that has been amended, the same is applicable for the IRAC norms. So if I give you the brief on the IRAC norms, for example, if we talk, Let me just share my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the IRAC norm is all about the income recognition, asset classifications, and provisioning. So what is the main objective to classify and for these IRAC norms? So IRAC norm is all about, for example, there is one loan. Say, let us say, for example, outstanding for that loan, and it is completely unsecured. If it is 180 days, and there is a second loan, it's completely secured, and the outstanding in more than 2 years. So for the provisioning part, you cannot uh, do the provisioning with the same percentage. If it is secured, unsecured, and also the time horizon, like for how many days it is like NPA, then it's completely changed. So the main purpose of the IRAC norm is all about the giving the true and fair view of the financial statements. So the IRAC norm is all on the disclosure part, provisionings, that so about income recognitions and asset classifications. The main fundamental thing is about at what percentage that loans and advances needs to be provisioning needs to be done. So this is the main part on IRAC norms. So if we check further, for example, if the term loan, so interest or installments means of principal outstanding for more than 90 days, either interest outstanding hai or installments, whichever is the outstanding for more than 90 days, then it will become the NPA. NPA is all about the non-performing assets. So in respect to the overdraft and cash credit, for example, it remains out of order. So overdraft or cash credit, if it remains out of order, then it would be NPA. And now, what is the positions and situations about the about out of order? What is the definitions of out of order? If we refer that out of order is all about, for example, outstanding balance in the CCOD account remains continuously in excess of the sanction limit or drawing power for 90 days. Now, for example, there is excess withdrawal continuously for the 90 days, then it would be the NPA. For example, or outstanding balance in the CCOD account is less than the sanction limit or drawing power. उसका जो sanction limit और drawing power है उससे तो balance कम है, but there is a no credit continuously for 90 days, then it would be considered as a out of order. For example, outstanding balance CCOD account का is less than the sanction limited drawing power, but the credits जो भी है 90 days की, that is not enough to cover the interest debited during the previous 90 days. Let us say, for example, on 1st June, the interest has been debited amounting to rupees 90 lakh rupees, but from June, July, August, for example, in particular respective that 90 days, there is no credit to cover the interest portion, then it will also become out of order. So in this out of order, this period is inclusive of the day for which the day end process is being run. So nowadays, what earlier were the scenario, the NPA classification was the quarter end or year end process. Now, as per the master notifications of RBI, to classify the NPA account is the day end process. It is not the quarter end or year end you need to classify the NPA. And for these IRAC provisioning and classifications, it needs to be automatic process, that manual intervention is not there. So as per the RBI notifications, you also again need to verify is there any manual intervention to classify all the account as NPA or not? So this is the day end process and it is the automatic process. So again, the same process for the bill purchased and discount. For example, it remains out of order for more than 90 days, then it would be the NPA. So if we consider for the agriculture loan and short and long duration. So for example, into the short duration, principal or interest outstanding for the 2 crop season, then it is NPA. For example, into the agriculture long-term duration crop. So if it is outstanding for more than one, so it would be the more than 1 crop season, then it would be as a NPA. So about the securitization of transactions. So now what is this? For example, nowadays many of these likewise ARC asset reconstruction companies, the bank purchases the NPA accounts. For example, completely the pool of assets that has been purchased by bank, and respective that pool of assets. For example, I have given ABC Limited 100 CR rupees, and into that 100 CR, I have there are like 10-20 assets are there. If I have completely purchased that portfolio, but that portfolio is not giving me any return continuously for the 90 days, then that whole securitization transactions would be the NPA. There are also the different master directions about the transfer of loan exposures that again we need to verify on that. So for example, everyone is using the credit card, right? So for the credit card also, for example, we are many of times you also don't know that how many credit card we have. So in respect to the credit card as well, for example, if there is a minimum amount due, and irrespective whether the amount is the 100 rupees, 500 rupees or what, if there is a minimum amount due and that has not been paid for more than 90 days, then that credit card account also will be the NPA. And now here we again need to remember the classification of all the NPA accounts are not facility wise. For example, if your credit card account become NPA, then all your facility become NPA, irrespective whether the credit card outstanding amount due is only the 100 rupees. So for example, if the term loan has been taken from your, you have taken from one bank, SBI, let us say 10 lakh rupees, and you have also taken the other CCOD limit from the bank, 50 lakhs. So if the term loan is NPA, then all your facilities would be the NPA. So it's the borrower wise and it's not as per the facility wise. So we need to verify. For example, if we talk about the security value and the NPA accounts, so what happened? For example, there is a completely erosion in the value of security or fraud that has been committed by the borrower. The same should be straightforward to be classified as a doubtful or loss assets. For example, value of the security has completely eroded by the 50%. जो last में जो valuer ने जो report दिया है security का, और RBI ने भी जो confirm किया, RBI valuers is verified if any. Then if there is a completely erosion in that security, more than 50%, then you have to classify that assets as a doubtful, and this is the NP account. For example, many of times, for example, the realizable value of security is less than 10% of the total outstanding. So again, you need to completely consider what is the security, and for example, even if it is the standard, so if there is a completely down change in the security value, for example, less than 10%, earlier you were showing as a secured assets, for example, it's 100 lakh rupees, and again the security value that time as per the security valuation report is 200, but now the value of that respect security is less than 10% of the outstanding. Then you have to not completely cross the whole stage, like for example the standard accounts to substandard or doubtful one or like that. You completely classify that respective assets as a loss assets. So these are all the relevant point about the IRAC norms. Again, for example, the staff loans are there. For example, in the staff loans, ultimately, if there is any staff loan are into the exceptions. For example, except in the exceptional cases, if the suit filed, then only you can classify it into the NPA. So for the IRAC norms, we have to verify. Let us say, for example, if there is a loan has been given against the term deposit or Kisan Vikash Patra or national that NAC or LIC. So we have to check whether adequate margin is available or not. If there is adequate margin is available, then we have to classify this account not as NPA, but it would be classified as a standard only. So, but these exceptions will not work completely for the gold ornaments and the government securities as well. So, if it is the government securities are central government guaranteed securities, then this would not be classified as NPA. But make sure you have to book the interest income into that as per the cash basis only. So some of the exceptions are like, for example, the primary agriculture credit societies and farmer service. So with respect to the particularly lending arrangement, if the loan has been granted, then only this facility-wise NPA you need to consider. So these all are the exceptions for these NPA. So again, you have to check into the NPA whether the before the balance sheet date, if any accounts are classified as a standard. So whether the transfer of funds is very genuine, or is there any short or ad hoc limit has been given. So again, for the reversal of income is there. For example, if account become NPA, then you have to reverse the income. All the income you have to reverse it. So unrealized interest income, any charges you have to reverse. So this is the fundamental principle for the recovery. So in case of NPA account, if you are getting any income, then you have to first classify it against any charges if any due, then interest, and after that the principal you have to book. For NPA account, bank can also maintain one memorandum of account. So, for example, outstanding balance and interest into bank can charge into that account, but that account would not be considered into the balance sheet purpose. So again, for example, upgradation of loan account classified as NPA on receipt of all the outstanding dues, it would be classified as against standard from the NPA accounts. So this is all about the classification standard, substandard, doubtful and loss assets. About the doubtful category also, we have to classify whether it's up to 1 year, 1 to 3 or above 3 years. So if within 24 months, it would be doubtful 1 category, 24 months to 48, it is the 1 to 3, and above 48 months, it is a doubtful 3 category. So as again I said, it's the borrower wise and not the facility wise. So there are different provisioning norms. For example, the standard then 0.25, 1, 2 like that. So I will share this PPT. SMA 012 is all about the 0 to let us say 30 days, 30 to 60 days and 60 to 90 days. We have to classify it as a SMA 012 category. We also have to verify the stock audit report and also the due diligence into this case. So this is all from my end, friends, respective IRAC norms, income recognitions and asset classifications. I will definitely share you the PPT, or if there is any questions, you can reach out to me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful deliberation in a limited time. And now we would like to welcome our next speaker, CA Sammir S Chaudhary, sir. Sir, you can share your screen. Meanwhile, would like to thanks once again CA Swati Panchal, ma'am. Despite of her busy schedule, she has given time and presented. There are so many requests for her presentation, and there are many questions and the appreciation also. People are watching on LinkedIn as well as YouTube also. But for the interactive session, would like to request them to come on GoToWebinar to ask the questions and make it interactive. So thank you, ma'am, for giving us your time and sharing your valuable knowledge. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And now we would like to invite CA Sammir, sir. Let me introduce, sir. Sir, we can see your screen. You can keep the presentation on the screen, sir. Let me tell you that, sir, your voice is not audible. I think you are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes, perfect. So, sir is a managing committee member of one of the biggest branch of India, at ICAICI Ahmedabad branch. Sir is managing committee member and past treasurer as well. So we welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for your time and giving your time and sharing your valuable knowledge. So sir is also a founder of FinTech Chanakya, which is one of the wonderful YouTube channel sharing knowledge on finance. Sir is also a partner at Chaudhary Shah and Associate LLP. Sir is a FCA, MCOM, LLB, DISA, FAFD holder, a national speaker on multiple topics and multiple forum as well. A forensic analyst, is a startup enthusiast, project funding, a virtual CFO, and there are so many we would like to introduce in brief and utilize those that time for the our participants. So over to you, sir. You can share your screen and take the proceeding ahead for our today's session on this wonderful topic of forensic insight for this statutory bank branch audit. So over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. First of all, I would like to thank Virag Ji to always bestow trust on me and inviting me at least once in a year. And thank you for that, sir. Connect Easy, as usual, is doing great things that we all know. And even I'm, sir, attending, even my team is attending a lot, many lectures in your forum. And as I know about the human being, you are just a great human being. You are always helpful to everyone. Thanks also for that, sir. Now, friends, we are telling it's a bank branch audit season. And when we are telling that bank branch audit, many people
Sir,
think
screen is not visible. You can make it screen. Yeah, perfect. Now it is visible. Please continue, sir.
Friends, as we know that topic, the auditor's toolkit means strategic for effective bank auditing and forensic insight. Previous speaker before, who was Swati Panchal from Ahmedabad itself, she is an excellent speaker, and I know that now since she was having a flight and she have given us a time to accommodate the session for half an hour. Friends, we know mostly many CAs and even their team members are focusing on one thing: bank audit kab aayega. Most important point on their mind. And when we receive the same, it can be by any means that we know, friends. But if we are getting the same, then another tension have to be completed, and it arises in our mind. Most important one is that we have to complete the same by 15th at the max of this month only. That is by 15th of April. When we're talking that by 15th of April we have to complete the audit, chalo, it's okay. But what strategy we have to apply? Whether we have to complete the same in 100%, or we have to have a few things only to check, and what are the effective strategy which will work for at least for us. Friends, I am talking much more this part about bank branch audit. Even it will be applicable for central auditor, but much more is focusing on bank branch audit, friends. And even being a forensic auditor and being a forensic accountant, and having an experience with few banks and other players, I can even give you and help you in giving some forensic insights. Friends, talking on that part now, what are the table of content we are going to read today? What are the introduction to bank branch audit, case studies, few case studies on that part, forensic insights in banking, types of frauds in banks we are looking at, what are the analytical tools we can check, essential tools for bank auditors which can help them, any technology tools if available, and conclusion to that. If you're talking about bank branch audit, this is a face of an auditor. Once he get the letter, a consent letter, I would say that your firm have been selected and most welcome to the panel of bank. And once you accept this consent, we will send them again back for further work. So it's, I would say, bank branch audit, the bank which itself is a big giant, and we are working either one of the branch, RO, JADO, which have some of the advances. Advances may vary. It can be a 40 crores branch, it can be 100 crore branch. For example, we are getting an audit this time, the audit which we have been allotted by some of the bank the turnover is only 1600 crores of advances. Another branch has a turnover of 250 crores, means advance amount I'm talking about. So sometimes it happens in our mind that if bank is having so much of advances, how can we complete the same within this time? So obviously a good planning is required and then execution of the same. सबसे पहले एक बात ध्यान रखना friends, please note one thing, we cannot win the race alone in this fight. If it's a race, it's a war for us that we have to complete within 15 of the month. We have to work on this on a joint basis. Means we need a good and effective team members with us. Bank branch audit are really critical examinations that delve into the financial records and even operations of individual bank branches to ensure whether compliance with regulatory standards, their internal policies, and accounting practices have been followed or not. And even it is essential to maintain the integrity and most important, accuracy of their bank's financial statements, which provides reassurance to stakeholders regarding the bank's health and performance. Hope you all remember the famous case study in the year 2018 of PNB Bank, that is Gitanjali Gems. If you remember that, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi. And when we are talking about the same friends, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, if you can understand one thing, they were doing an excellent work, but someday it is known to a bank that the fraud was taking place, and even as informed to the public, I would say that the upper management doesn't know, the higher management, top management doesn't know that what was cooking in a branch, and there's a fraud of approx 14,000 crores, and it was a value. If possible, I'm going to discuss that case study with you all. So during these audits, friends, auditor scrutinizes various aspects such as cash transactions, what are the procedures and whether it has been as per the norms, loan disbursements, and customer account integrity. I'm going to touch few such a points which is going to be eye-opener for people and at least members sitting over here. They also evaluate the effectiveness of internal controls and risk management procedures in place. And most important thing, our audit can identify areas of improvement, detect potential fraudulent activities. We know there is a specific point mentioned in LFAR, and even help in enhancing the operational efficiencies. Few people tell me, sir, kya karenge hum? We are effectively working in a bank branch from 7 to 10 days maximum. Mostly even we complete in 5 to 6 days. Whether our work can help that? Friends, obviously being a CA, we are equipped with such a things that if we analyze in a proper manner, we can do wonders. If we're talking about the things, let's check what are the evolution of banking in the digital age. Because we know everything, mostly I would say 99% things now are in a digital age. And the same vice versa with the evolution of a digital age of a banking system. Please remember initially, आज के अगर 20-25 साल पहले की बात की, if I'm talking about previous 15 to 20 years friends, then there was everything was offline. Only computer was kept at the branch, but we have to go to the banker, print a passbook, and even they, and if I'm talking about more than 30 years, I would say in the 90s, so they put every entry through pen. आपके जो भी entry होगी सब pen से होगी. Even they were managing at that time brilliantly, but now everything has been raised on online banking. You know about the mobile banking, IMPS. Many wallets are there. Even you may be knowing that there's a personalization and customization right now. For example, in my firm, where is my current account of my firm, the partner's mobile number is his account number. One of my partner's mobile number is his account number. Just remember that. So can we imagine that thing? That they are giving a very brilliant customization and personalization to people, but there is a need of enhanced security methods in. And even nowadays, the role of artificial intelligence and big data makes an impact on the same. Friends, we all have heard about cryptocurrencies, but do you know about the blockchain from which this technology have evolved? And when we're talking about blockchain, so many private banks and even nationalized banks are right now working on that. Hello. Yes. बस मैं मीटिंग में बात करिए हाँ चालू है sorry friends if we are talking on few case studies that obviously bank branch auditor must have been appointed at this of the clients banks but then also there was a fraud. Have you heard about Satyam case study? A scam which brought back or I would say which have introduced forensic accounting in India at least and which took place in the 2009 and that was India's biggest accounting scam of that time friends. Reason is that there is an anatomy of fraud and do you all know this person, the person who is showing as a deceased person and all this stuff? Anyone who can tell me his name? Who's he? I can check your chat box friend if you can reply that who is this personality, the CEO and founder of Satyam scam. Anyone? If anyone can mention over here who's that personality is, again I'm showing the screen friends. Friends, he is Mr. Ramalinga Raju. Ramalinga Raju is a person who is the major person who has been involved in this. And what was the fraud? You can see that the founder and chairman of Satyam Complex, B. Ramalinga Raju, he created false invoices to show the sales in an inflated manner, which even artificially inflated the accounts receivable account, thereby inflating the company's revenue. If you're talking about the same friends, kindly note one thing that if Ramalinga Raju have created a false invoice for inflated sales, a person cannot show that he is getting a cash or there is a cash sales on that part. You have to show a trade sales and vice versa. It has inflating the company's revenue on that part. And even Mr. Raju forged board of directors resolution, one of the biggest crime friend. Means you are altering the document. And even he saved money to offshore accounts and tax haven and rerouted it back to India for his own use. I would say this is called as a money laundering and even he was involved and others on the inside offloaded worthless stocks and participated in insider trading and one of such company where he has invested is please make the reverse of Satyam. Friends, you can make the reversal of Satyam. What the name you are getting, if someone can pinpoint that, it will be good friends. What is the reverse word of Satyam? Anyone friends? If I'm reversing the segment of a Satyam, what it will is going to say. So you. It is called as a Metas. And so the company name is was Metas and it was owned by his son. And even the statutory auditor of Satyam, that is PwC India, was found guilty. And it was the case when one of the big four has been blacklisted for this incident. On I'm not saying as a blacklisted, but one of the partner have been penalized and so the need of forensic accounting has elapsed. And what when this fraud has disclosed on the 7th Jan 2019, it was so said as the biggest accounting fraud amounting over 7,000 crores in the country, which in almost for more than 14 years. Can you remember this Ramayana? One was for 14 years. Same thing applies over here, friends. And giving recognition to the forensic accounting as the profession. Satyam share price fall to rupees 11.5 after that day compared to the previous height of rupees 544. Moving further friends, there is a case study of PNB which we have discussed right now and which was a fraud of more than 11,400 crores. Jeweler Nirav Modi wants to import diamonds and to design high-end collections. He approached PNB and asked for a LOU. LOU means letter of undertaking. In PNB's case, LOU has been issued by the branch officials through SWIFT without the approval of the competent authorities and the necessity of the import. Friends, please note, if you're doing a SWIFT transactions, and there should be approval of the competent authorities and the necessary documents for the import, but it was lacking over there. And even not knowing the credit history of a Nirav Modi, the overseas bank extends credit based entirely on PNB's LOU. The money was not paid back by Nirav Modi, and the second largest nationalized bank of India, that is PNB, whose shares were working very good, and it was received a, I would say, award of a Golden Peacock Award. It has reduced like anything, and even we can witness that in 3 to 4 years it has witnessed something 50 or 60 rupees the lowest price of PNB, and now it is right now running at 125 or 128 rupees. And same the ruling over the credit, he had ensured that subsequent LOUs repaid the dues on the earlier LOUs. This scam was worth rupees 14,000 crores and became public on Jan 29, 2018 by a whistleblower who was even a PNB official, and later BDO India was hired to carry out the forensic accounting of the same. Friends, this fraud has taken place at one of the branch in Maharashtra for this case study. Friends, can you remember if we are the auditor of any bank and we are suffering this thing, what can happen? So our approach should be very much good. Our strategy should be very well planned on that part. Last case studies to be discussed today is a Karuvanur cooperative bank scam, which has been revealed within 6 months. Means I would say the news has came in the month of October and November 2023 only. What happened over there? Fake loan applications submitted to draw loans on properties that are already pledged in the bank. At least 46 property documents were used in this one. Friends, can you remember this thing? And can you imagine that fake loan applications have been submitted to draw loans on properties? And loan amount deposited in different bank accounts but finally reach a single beneficiary. Means there was an excess in the all the loan accounts, and money then diverted to the fund of the real estate deals. Means there is a siphoning and even a diversion of a fund, and nexus of a bank officers local real estate mafia operated for 6 years before the fraud was discovered. So even I am pursuing a PhD in forensic, and one of the questions asked during my paper presentation was, which I remember right now, friends, that whether fraud can happen in a day or two, or it takes some considerable time. So my reply was, since Rome or Taj Mahal was not built in a day, same vice versa I would say, this fraud cannot be taken place in a day or two. It's a serious planning, I would say, and there is a many days or many months or years planning which give result to a fraud, because the intention of the person in a fraud is a mensary or malified. Why to discuss all these case studies with you? Because friends, note one thing, I'm talking on this part in a very detailed manner regarding the same, because please note one thing, that these frauds cannot take place easily, but it plays a very important role. Reason being, the bank which you are visiting and you say that this account may be NPA or you are have to pass an MOC for that, but the banker will deny for that. The same way you will get a call from maybe RO, JADO or some other person forcing you, sir, maybe there may be some mistake from your side. It should not be covered under NPA. You do not declare this thing, or they may be giving you much more explanation. Once your audit is completed, then being a statutory auditor, we don't have any value. If you're visiting the same bank or branch after 4 or 6 months, even the watchman who was encouraging you or giving you a special gratitude during the audit visit, he will forget to please note. So kindly note one thing, be specific, be punctual, and consider the risk which you are holding if you are doing an audit in a proper way. Else it can be possible, I'm not saying it can be possible, but looking at today's level, I'm sure that it is going to hit us in the coming days. So kindly note, we have to be very much careful on this thing, friend. Moving further, What are the forensic insights in banking? If we're talking on that part, you can check this image. And what does this image says us? This image is showing different people will have a different angle of looking at and different viewpoints. But forensic inquiry in banking is a specialized area of investigation that scrutinizes financial records to uncover potential fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, and even other financial crimes. And it combines accounting expertise with investigative skills. Many people ask me, Sammir bhaiya, forensic hota kya hai? What is the difference between normal audit and forensic audit? First of all, our ICI have said there's nothing like forensic audit, but it is forensic accounting. First point. Second point, if accounting expertise is added with investigative skills to detect which was not shown with the normal eyes, I would say you need to have a careful example of that, and which may indicate a criminal activities, and the report of the same is presented as a primary report or documents in the court of law. That is called a forensic accounting. Means it is an investigation used to gather facts or evidence to be disclosed in a court of law. The most important point that your report can even be challenged in the court of law, and the auditor who has been appointed as an expert for doing a forensic can get a summons or notice from the bank, from the court, to come as a witness expert and to reveal to the advocate what you have worked or not. Same, forensic accounting involves the use of accounting skills to investigate financial discrepancies and anomalies, often for legal cases or fraud detection. Then what is the auditing or accounting? I would say it combines accounting investigative skills to conduct through financial analysis. What are the mostly main tools used in forensic audit? It is used a suite of tools, including advanced data analytics. Let's say today I'm talking to my partners and my colleagues that since bank has an advance of more than 1600 CR, and we have to report in LFAR any loan which is more than 5 crores of amount and having that tense. So since it's a big branch having so much of advances, we have to take care that at least we will get 100 accounts, but the reporting will be more than 5 crores. And if you're talking more than 5 crores, will be at least 100 accounts will be there. Obviously, we have to be very much cautious and how to reply properly to the LFR and all these norms. But most important, the planning matters a lot. We have to take care कि मुझे क्या चेक करना है और उससे ज़्यादा क्या नहीं चेक करना वो important mean है friends. And so here we would say advanced data analytics and digital forensic techniques which help us to analyze complex financial transactions meticulously. What are the tools used? One is a FTK, most important one, friends. Their work is essential in enforcing regulatory compliance, aiding in legal proceedings, and safeguarding the integrity of the financial system. Through their detailed report, forensic inquiries provide crucial insights that can lead to the improvement of internal controls and risk management practices within a bank. Friends, if we're talking about forensic, the most important theory I would say in forensic accounting is a fraud triangle. It is a tool used in forensic accounting that explains three interrelated elements that assist the commissioning of a fraud. First is a pressure, that is a motive. Second, opportunity, ability to carry out the fraud, and third is a rationalization, that is a justification of dishonest intentions. How? If you're talking on that part, friends, in case of any doubt, friends, you can ask me. I will surely revert you, friends. There can be Q&A or chat box. You can ask me. I will report on that. Friends, if you're talking on the same, in fraud triangle, there are three parts I have discussed, and this help you to identify is there any red flag, means a warning or an alert for showing in a fraud. But it's a, I would say, perceived pressure. Pressure means they can financial pressure of a greed, lalach, addiction of anything, poor credit rating or cash management. Have you ever heard कि बंदे को लालच बहुत है, and it is always a लालच बुरी बला है. If he is greedy for everything, there are chances he will conduct a fraud. And even a person who want to do everything by his own is not discharging his duty, and even he is working in a very close manner and always delaying the things, there are chances that such a person may be suspect as a fraudster. Have we knows that it's a time of a IPL, the 16th season of IPL, and we see the ad of Dream 11 MPL. Let's say Mr. X is there, who knows that he will put his hard-earned money in this Dream 11, and some of his friends have earned a lot of money, even he will earn. He have invested his hard-earned 5 lakh rupees in that, thinking that in 2 or 3 days I'm expert in that now and I will earn. And in 2 or 3 days, the money from 5 lakhs gets lesser to 3 lakh or 2 lakh rupees, or even the whole money have been elapsed. So now it's a pressure on him of a cash management. Same way, work pressure may be there, which is called as a dissatisfaction with pay, and even overlook for promotion. In bank, you will find such a person if you have to very much cautious from him. Same way, there's a perceived opportunity, that is there's a weak internal control on something, ineffective monitoring of control is there, and assets susceptible to fraud. If there's a weak internal control, many times even in our office we have internal control which is weakens. If you're not focusing on that, there are chances that fraud is taking place. And even restoration, that is, I will pay it back, I deserve a pay raise, or it is for a very good purpose. If person is having such an intention and he commits a fraud, but he have a justification of everything. Please remember the movie Like a Don, where Don was looting the Amir people or rich people and the politicians and feeding the poor. So he says, I'm doing for a good reason. But actually, we all know the reason was not actually good. What are the different types of fraud detection techniques? There can be two: statistical data analysis and artificial intelligence. If you're talking about statistical data analysis, it will be statistical parameter calculations, probability distributions and models, regression analysis, and data matching. In data matching, can we say we are even using it as a VLOOKUP and analyzing as a pivot table even many times? So there, these two things we have to take care on. Even if you're talking about AI or artificial intelligence, friends, it's a data mining. Let's say if I'm looking for a transaction of some big company like Adani, Ambani, Tata, but turnover is a huge, and then the transaction we're looking in their working capital account and having a lakhs of transactions. So if we are not good in some Excel work or data mining, we are not going to get a good report on that part. Neural networks is there, machine learning, and pattern recognition. In machine learning, there are two types of the things: one supervised, second is unsupervised learning. If we are talking on that, what are the broad methods and procedures if you're talking on forensic accounting, friends? If you are doing that, even in a bank audit, please note few things which is going to help us. First is a data analysis. Take a data of a banker. It can be advances data, any locker data, anything, and analyze the same first. That which account you will check. Is there any red flag we are looking at when we are giving any report or anything like that? What are the analytical procedures for that? Define the analytical procedures and check whether properly it has been done or not. Third, most important thing, friends, is the risk assessment. Sometimes what happens that if you're talking about a risk assessment, friends, we have verified and noted that people are not describing a risk in a proper manner. Maybe possible that in my firm there are 100 files are there, but there may be analysis which can help me that which file has a higher risk and which file has a lower risk. If we are looking on that way properly, then it's okay. If we're not looking and not checking anything in a proper manner, it is going to hurt your planning, friends. Mostly if, for example, sometimes people tell me, so I have checked the loan account of loan against FD or OD against any other safest security like LIC people give, bank is giving a loan against gold, everything like that. You can search and you can find whether the gold report which has been published was okay or not, and you can even check whether random gold was kept there or not. And even if a loan amount is towards 3 lakh rupees and you are checking 20 or 25 file out of that, it is not going to work. You have to specify and justify yourself how many loan file you have to check, whether you are doing a scientific analysis of that or not. If it is not a scientific analysis, it is not going to help us. Please note, friends. Moving further, the inspection of a thing is required. If you're going to a bank, always have a keen observation, and your observation is going to help you. Even if possible, you can take a external confirmation. Recalculation of a thing is important. Many times it doesn't have much more effect over here, but what you have to check, friends, you have to take a trial balance and even a financials and check all the loan accounts main figure. Means I'm talking about working capital or let's say retail loan. The final figure you have to check from that whether that balance is matching or not. That is called a recalculation reperformance. If that is there properly, then it's okay. Sometimes it is noted that if some banker is doing anything negative or something like that, it is going to hurt them on that part. Then there's a requirement of an inquiry. In inquire, you can do an inquiry with the other officers of a bank, mostly the pattawal of a bank or the office boy. He knows everything about the banker and about any client. Sometimes even you can take help of them by having a good friendship from them with them, because they are overhyped. When the auditor comes, you can understand that, friends. It is going to help you at that moment. Even some officers who are now going to retire, and you will find at least some officers who lives his life by his own and enjoy the life, and is always opposed to a manager. Pick such a person, make inquiry with him, you will get something good clue. Some interview you can do, and even check if you are getting some known files which is known to you or known to some a CA who is your friend, who is an auditor for that company. You can have a deep dive into that, and even you can make an integration with the manager with all the things or even the office staff over there. What are the approach of forensic audit, friends? Let's check the law and standard, accounting or audit, business methods, and system and technology, which is going to help you in the risk assessment and investigation analysis in a very proper manner. They can be reporting and proving of that. And friends, if you're talking on this part, please note, if we are going to a bank or a branch for doing the bank audit, don't, I would say, dive in doing the only file checking all these stuff. Take your time, take 2 or 3 hours, sit with the banker, discuss about the work of a bank, whether any audit has been undertaken during the year, if there was any concurrent audit was there, some audit from RBI, some internal audit has taken place or not. Discuss with them all the methods they are following, how the branch is working, how many employees are there, any employees have been left, any new employee have joined or not, till what time this banker is there, how many new loan files they have sanctioned this year, how many renewal has been done, is there any thought review was done for any file or not, how many locker are, if any locker facility, how many lockers are there, is there any notice which is running against the bank or branch during the year, or what is the result of that. So there are many questions you can frame that thing and then have a proper approach and go to a bank. What are the few kind of frauds in a bank if you're discussing on that, friends? Term loan fraud. Term loan is said one of the safest loan by many people and even many bankers. But friends, do you know there's huge chance in a bank fraud? If I'm talking about that Governor Bank or something like cooperative bank I have discussed in South, the same thing happened over there, friends, because the same level happened, and even there was an issue on that. You will understand, not you will get to know that, friends, that at that time there was a huge issue because mostly all the loans were term loan, but few points we have to take care, because term loan frauds in banks involves using dishonest methods to secure a long-term financing, typically by falsifying information. Please note few things. Falsifying information, I would say. Second thing is that documents or identities which lead to undeserved credit issuance and even financial damage to banks and the economy. Few of the term loan frauds are starting with application fraud. There are many kinds of fraud. One is application fraud. The details mentioned in the application is wrong. The documents even many times get altered and even they are showing an inflated income. Means the income which they are showing is an inflated one. Let's say my business turnover is only 20 CR, but I need a more loan and I want to purchase some machinery. I'm showing it as a high one. And even the same thing, I get altered or shows an inflated profit or something like that. Same with this identity theft, which can be stolen identities or synthetic identities. Many times it comes to our notice that the party to the loan is a ghost borrower. Means actually even he doesn't know that a loan has been taken in his or his in his KYC or identity. But he thinks that the things which are going is a very good way and he's enjoying that. But later he comes to know, friends, later on he comes to know that the identity which was shown to him is a wrong one and the some loan is running on his name. This was actually not required and thing is wrong. So there is possibility that such a things happen, friends, and yes, we have to be very much cautious during this time. And this mostly in such a cases when the borrower comes to know that some loan is running in his name, and when it happens when the person actually involved in such a case have taken a loan and then he stops to paying that loan, and then bank searches about this person and start to harass that person. Same way, giving a collateral security to a bank, people doing a fraud in that, non-existence of a collateral security, the collateral security is overvalued. In one of the case, before some year, we have done audit of some bank where the valuation of the property have been overvalued, and even the valuer doesn't know that. Means that documents have been tampered, I would say, friends. Even the value which was actually of a property was 2 crores have been converted to 6 crores. Moving further, there is a different frauds like insider frauds. If you're talking about insider fraud, means a person who is into management of the borrower commits some fraud, or a banker inside a banker even commits some frauds, which includes collusion with the valuer, which I have already discussed, and even collusion with the bank staff, where there was not an actual eligibility that is required, and even the bank sanctioned and disbursed the loan. We have checked that in one of the cases, the return was filed at only 3 lakh rupees average income per annum, but bank have given a loan of something 50 lakh rupees. And even what they did, they have taken a documents of co-applicant, that is fair enough, but also taken a declaration that the return which we have shown is wrong and we have an income of 10 lakh rupees actually. Whether how much is that justified even in nationalized and cooperative bank if there's no any policy is a point of question for everyone. There's a diversion of funds, using funds for illegal activities and not using funds for stated purpose. Most important thing, how you can identify that thing, friends. In such a case, what we used to do, we ask for a sanction letter for a client. And what is the process and procedure applied when we are sanctioning the loan? You will get the same through the papers and file papers kept over there. If and how to select that thing, we are going to discuss in few minutes in next slide, friends. But we have to check that thing, and we have to check who was the vendor from whom the property have been purchased or any machineries have been purchased in case of term loan, whether the payment has been made to that specific account or have been transferred to the party account, and if it is transferred to a party account, how and to whom the party have paid that amount, and if it is a vendor account, the vendor account was proper or not. We know the second most important thing in a bank funding is a working capital, and even there are many kind of fraud is that Here is a banker and auditor who sees that everything is going perfect, looking at the treasury of the bank, the funded made by the bank, and here is a person who is guiding him, but they don't know what is involved in the backside. So we should be a person who is even sitting with them like this and inquiring, focusing on them on the upside. Sorry. Friends, working capital frauds involves falsifying financial records to obtain undue credit from banks, overstating assets, and either understating the liabilities to present a misleadingly robust business financial health. So I would say in this thing, there is a very perfect word for that. That is called a window dressing. Looking on the types of fraud in that, one is an embezzlement, means cash larceny is there, or a skimming type of facility is there. Loan frauds where there can be a loan diversion, that loan has been diverted to some other account, or fictitious loan has been created on that part. There are a kind of a document frauds where forged documents have been created, or check has been published which was an altered check. And very crucial observation is required in working capital, because one thing say NPA, declaring of an NPA. When we are declaring that thing, maybe Swati ma'am have been discussed on that part, or let me discuss in a nutshell. If there is any outstanding more than 90 days, if no any fund has been credited to the account for more than 90 days, so let's say my loan outstanding is only 4 crores and I have taken a OD of 10 crores and outstanding is only 4 crores, means there's already a less balance in my OD which I'm using, and now interest is debited in that account and I'm not repaying that account since I know my balance will suffice that thing. And if there is no any credit transactions during that period of 3 months, or I would say 90 days, it may be declared as an NPA, friends. Whether that's if it's a cash credit facility, whether the stock statement is coming in a due time or not, and if it is not received for 6 months, even at least for 6 months maximum, it will be considered as an NPA of accounts. Whether the expenses have been booked or the revenue has been booked by the bank or not, whether any kind of penalty charges which have been levied have been put or not, whether all the documents which has been kept is original or not, whether the stock statement and even insurance has been kept in the file or not. These are the very few things we have to remember, friends. Electronic frauds means unauthorized transactions is done, or is there any kind of phishing attack? We know about the cyber security and they are attending things like a phishing and all these stuffs are already there on that. Is there any kind of inventory frauds, or the stock statement which shows the DP means the drawing power in CC account is shown in a good manner, or it shows a true picture or it's a fake one? We have to take care on that part, friends, because many times they shows a fictitious inventory, means inventory is not kept in a company and they shows in their books of accounts, or I would say stock statement, and even sometimes there's an inflated inventory values. Now even a check fraud, which are few of them. One is a forgery, that's which involves an unauthorized individuals signing a check without the account holder's permission. Friends, many saving and current accounts are kept in an anomaly in a bank, and even they have been declared as non-KYC compliant account where debit freeze has been already created. And many times banker, and when we check the report, banker says yes sir, the party came and he have withdrawn the money. So you can even review or check that accounts, that during the year how many such account has been unblocked, when earlier they were blocked and now it has been unblocked. And if it is unblocked, whether a proper nominee has came, if it's a that person has died or some other reason, and whether the proper KYC has been kept, the signature of the earlier signature which was matched during the account opening is the same signature which is doing by the person currently, and how the money has been withdrawn. In one of the cases, I would say there is a private bank and my client have deposited it. It's a fact case of another 1 month. My client want to make a payment of 48 lakh rupees to Mr. A. There's another party called Mr. A1. Name was similar, but the bank account was different. So from, let's say my party has an account in SBI. He want to pay a party in, let's say, Corporation Union Bank, but by mistake they have made a payment in HDFC Bank. And when my client have approached to HDFC Bank that this mistake has been made, within 24 hours they have made an application, everything from their home branch. Let's say they were making a payment from SBI, so they have given a letter to SBI Bank and even to this bank, that is, I would say, HDFC Bank, that by mistake payment has been made from my account to your account. Kindly debit freeze that amount and give us a reverse of that refund. To our surprise, it came to our notice that account in which the money has been transferred, because we are not dealing with that client since a long. The person who died, he was a proprietor of a company, he has died, and the account was debit freeze. So money can be enter only incoming in that account was possible, outgoing was not possible. So what happened, friends? Very simple thing happened at that time. I would say that we have requested the banker was quite cooperative, but what happened, instead of Naha being a cooperative, that banker denied कि sir, we need to make a KYC from the nominee of the banker, and even he haven't specified the nominee. So there comes a legal hairs, and they have taken all the concerns, all the things of a legal hairs, and then check and then have authorized the things. So friends, such a things happens many times. So you have to take care whether a proper things have been checked and whether any mensria intention was not there by any banker or by someone else. If it often requires access to the account holder's checkbook and a fraud signature. Alteration, fraudsters may alter the payer's name or the amount on a check after it has been written, typically increasing the amount to be returned. Friends, do you know now you cannot write a check or deposit a check to LIC with the name only LIC or LIC of India. You have to mention the complete name as the Life Insurance Corporation of India. Why? Because many, I would say, as I have heard, and even there's a few case studies that many agents of the LIC and many fraudsters have misused their authority, and they were taking a check from a client in the name of LIC or LIC of India, and either they rename the same or have opened some similar name of accounts and have deposited over there. This such a things came to notice to a banker and sometimes to many people when they get notice that someone have died and they have their nominee have went to the insurance company to ask for the money, and what they said, sorry madam, you haven't paid your last on 2 or 3, I would say, insurance premium, and so your policy has been left and now we cannot pay. And then there is some red flag, ये क्या हो रहा है? Just like CID, दया कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. And when the company have started inquiring on that thing, it came to notice कि नहीं भाई कुछ बड़ा गड़बड़ है. Same thing is a counterfeiting and fabrication, means creating a fake checks or duplicating legitimate ones using sophisticated printing equipments. These counterfeit checks are then presented for payment of deposit. Do you remember that famous, I would say, a web series which has been launched before few days called as Scam 2002? The stamp paper have been fabricated and even a manufactured, I would say, created the whole things have been fabricated, and people were accepting that, even a government companies were accepting that thing. What is that? I would say that is a counterfeit and fabrication of the same. Then comes few of the analytical tools which can be helpful. Before talking on that thing, friends, let's decide and check. Let's decide and check, friends, that what are the things which can be helpful in making a strategic planning for the banker. Friends, if you're talking on that part, so remember a few things, that if you're doing a bank audit, what are the things we can understand and we can take care. First of all, if you're going to a banker, kindly note, always ask them that what are the lists available with them. For example, I would suggest you to check कि बैंकर के पास में क्या क्या चीजें अवेलेबल है, कौन कौन सी रिपोर्टें निकलती हैं, एंड इफ द रिपोर्ट विच आर अवेलेबल उसमें से कौन सी डूइंग द रिस्क एनालिसिस what are the reports you will be helpful to you. Even there are many times, for example, the banks for which we are employed right now, they have the statutory auditor meeting. So even attend such a meeting, it is going to help you, because you can understand the tuning and the psychology of a central auditor, what he expects from us. There is always a meeting for that purpose. Further, friends, there is a requirement on few more things, that if you are taking from them a file, I have already discussed that there should be a scientific analysis of the documents and all these stuff. If I'm talking about scientific analysis, which is very much important, friends, how and when, because if I'm talking about scientific analysis, you collect the report from a banker and check that if it's a loan file, segregate both the things. There's always a separate file of a retail loan, or it's a term loan file and a working capital file. If it's a term loan file, we analyze the same thing through a types of loan. It's a home loan, it's a vehicle loan, whether it's a gold loan, it's a staff loan, or is there any agriculture loan is there in that part. Analyze each and everything in a proper manner. Further, friends, you have to even verify and check that is there any kind of outstanding with any party, or whether is there any kind of, there is a figure which is showing as a theo balance. What is theo balance? That is a theoretical balance which should be remain after repaying few of the loan amount principal EMI. Let's say I have taken some loan of 5 crores rupees for 5 years, and my EMI amount is, let's say, 10 lakh rupees. So per annum I am paying 1 crore 20 lakh rupees, in which let's assume 40 lakhs is the interest amount. So 80 lakhs should be reduced from my loan account. So whether my theo balance is showing as a 4 crore 20 lakh as a principal amount outstanding, and the same is outstanding in my books of accounts or not. And even there is something said that how many EMIs due is also mentioned over there. That is called SMA1, SMA2, SMA3, in which what they have classified, whether that list is proper or not. Select the higher amount of loan and even the loan that has been processed in this year. And mostly you can even check few loan accounts which have been sanctioned or disbursed after 15th of this month. Because many times banks have to complete their target. तब कुछ भी करेगा, पता है कुछ भी करेगा for Candyman वैसी हालत होती है. So you have to make a very quick decisions, very proper way at that time, but they are not doing that. Moving further, friends, these are the few points you have to take care. Apply Pareto analysis theorem, that is 80-20 ratio. Means 20% loan will have a 80% quantum of a bank. Ask them to provide you that list, and then you can select and analyze the file from that. Always be clear that how many files you have to check in due time, and at least you should have a 3 to 4 team with you who are doing this audit, and they should have at least experience of that. There are many events, or I would say seminars or webinars, which are conducting right now. People who are attending all this stuff knows this thing. So have to take care whether वो सब check हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. Same way in a working capital, check that now whether is there any outstanding available which is showing in a books of accounts and all these stuff, whether it's a correct one or wrong thing. Many things we have to take care. Same way in talking about now fixed deposits, any deposit which has been matured during our loan statutory period, whether they have been complied properly or not, it has been renewed or not. Any in working capital, any loan is there which has been sought renewed or sought reviewed, and whether any and further sought review is available or not, or provided or not. I was attending a lecture of some senior member in bank audit. He says that many times in bank what happens that they banker give them a short review, But short review, you must be knowing that it can be maximum for 6 months and not more than that. But what happens many times in this, they provide you this short review for more than 6 months, and if it is done for more than 6 months, tata bye bye khatam, means nothing can help you on that thing. The account will automatically become NPA. Please note, kindly note this, friends. Even review about the locker, how many lockers available to the bank, is there any such a transactions, whether the locker which are not used for many years have been used in this year, a new locker have been opened, any locker which has been closed this year, whether the files which you are checking in current period or current year, you have to note and analyze, friends, whether that file have been sanctioned in a proper manner, and always check the pre-sanction conditions and the post-sanction condition, whether pre-sanction and post-sanction conditions have been met or not. If it has not been met, then we have to take care on that thing and have to check on that part. If talking about any kind of loan, it may be, we have to check whether this loan have been mm, disbursed in a proper manner, or is there any issue during that part. Moving further, friends, there are mostly a loan application or credit appraisal are there. We have few of the things we have to check, like a prescribed application form, whether it has been filled up or not, a proper signature of a borrower and co-borrower was there, whether it is a fresh application or a renewal facility is there, whether it has been KYC compliant or not. Project report, projected P&L, balance sheet and cash flow. If they have given you a projected cash flow of, let's say, before 2 years, and whether this has been matched with the audited balance sheet of a company if available, or any records where you can cross check the same. Now, what amount, or I would say how much of difference is there between the two. Latest audit financial statements you have to check, friends. Board resolutions for the availment of facility obtained, whether if it's a private limited or limited company, or I would say any company registered in MCA. So whether a board resolution has been passed. If it's a partnership firm, whether Form G, means that is called, I would say, yes, RO certificate, register of firm certificate, means whether the bank is registered or not. We have to that firm is registered or not. We have to check whether it's a MSME firm or not. Whether if it's a MSME firm, whether the if it's an MSME firm, whether the special benefit of MSME has been forward to that client or not, whether if any NOC from any government department is required, whether it has been in file or not, is there any kind of short review or technical review has been made, any ad hoc limit has been provided, and if it is provided, it cannot be more than 1 year, whether it has been taken care of that thing. You have to check the appraisal note, appropriate authority level is there or not. Same way if I'm moving further of a credit appraisal or something like that, whether recommendations properly noted or not. If someone have given any recommendations of that thing, it has been properly noted or not, we have to take care. Adverse remarks of field officer, whether it has been noted and it is not to be overruled by any kind of senior. Proper assessment of financial viability of a proposal, and even if it's a big loan, there is called a TEV study, that is techno-economic viability study. It has been taken place, if taken place, whether it has been taken place by some empaneled people, because in few of the cases we have seen that, not few of the, in very rare case I have noticed that in one of the forensic accounting work we have checked that the report which was used by the banker of a valuer and even a title clear person have not been empaneled by bank. Whether there is a adequacy of a security that is covered, a creditworthiness of the borrower, we have to check. Sanction within the discretionary DOP, they have a whether power or not. Change in the terms of sanction is certified by appropriate authority or not. What is the exposure industries, group wise or industry wise, we have to check that. Whether bank is not overwhelmed by any kind of responsibility, and if anything happened to that client, what will be the effect, you have to at least take care in your mind for that purpose, so that it is not any issue with the client. Whether compliance with RBI guidelines or bank guidelines statutory restrictions is there or not. So of the documentation we have to check, friends, that is sanction term and conditions to be accepted by the borrowers. whether borrowers are accepting any terms and conditions or not, whether there is an execution of loan documents in a proper manner or not, whether it is not the case ना कि जहाँ पे भी अगर ना हाँ कुछ भी documents है वो सब properly execute नहीं हुए, and even it is as per the loan policy and sanction letter. Always check the extra sanctioning condition and which has been fulfilled by the client or not. And in case it has not been fulfilled, whether the charges which has been mentioned has been recovered from client or not. Most important thing, friends. In case of fresh borrower limit, whether there is any change in limit, changing constitution of the borrower, if any, whether it has been duly recorded in books of accounts, or I would say record of a banker, and if it is late, then there you have to even check for the revenue, because nowadays many nationalized banks which we have experienced during our concurrent, they take certificate from us that give a certification for revenue audit, is there any revenue leakage or not. So there is a liability of either revenue auditor or a concurrent auditor in a bigger branch, and if that is the case, we have received a certificate or not for that purpose. Whether original documents are held in a safe custody, there is a recent two frauds I have heard. One is at Mumbai only. I was at Akula branch before few days, and one of the senior person, chartered accountant sir, was telling that there is a fraud in some bank where the banker has sold out more than 3 crores of gold of the borrowers. Can you imagine this? 3 crore से ऊपर का जो gold है banker ने बेच दिया. Another case was there, even it was in a newspaper, what I remember, that the gold loan which has been provided by the banker and the gold received as a security was a duplicate gold. Sorry, means the gold was not original. Can you imagine these things happens? So we think कि हम जो देख रहे सही है. Friends, गलत नहीं है हम जो देख रहे सही है कि नहीं है, पर एक बार उसका एनालिसिस करना अच्छा अपने लिए. Original documents are held in safe custody or not. Change charge as appropriate authorities registered or not. Whenever it happens, if it is a builder's account, it has to be even specified or mentioned with a RERA authority. They have informed such an authority or not. If it's a company, they have to make a charge under MC, whether MC में charge किया गया कि नहीं किया गया. Same way, updation of information in CBS master. And अगर कोई ग्रुप का अगर एक अकाउंट का एनपीओ होता है तो पूरे ग्रुप के अकाउंट का एनपीओ डिक्लेयर किया गया कि नहीं किया गया, एंड पूरे ग्रुप वाइज की उनकी लोन की ऑब्लिगेशंस कितनी हैं, वो कहीं बैंक के गाइडलाइन से ज्यादा तो नहीं जा रही. Compliance with the stamp duty is or not. Adequate insurance of securities and banks clause is mentioned or not. And अगर कोई इंश्योरेंस साल के अंदर खत्म हो रहा है तो उसको रिन्यू किया गया कि नहीं किया गया. अभी ये केस है मेरे सामने, एक फ्रेंड है, अचानक उसके गोडाउन में आग लग गई. उसने बैंक से लोन लेके रखा था 40 लाख रुपए का. वो भैया मेरे यहाँ पे स्टॉक था 50 लाख का, वो तो गया ही, फैक्ट्री अलग से जल गई. जब देखा गया तो पार्टी के वो फैक्ट्री की प्रॉपर्टी का इंश्योरेंस नहीं था. बैंकर से बात की, बैंकर बोलता हमने इनको कहा था, इन्होंने लिया नहीं, हम क्या करें. लॉस किसको है, पार्टी इंक्लूडिंग बैंकर, यस और नो. आप ये सब सवाल का जवाब फ्रेंड्स ग्रुप में तो आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि सही आ रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. And in case you think I'm running so much fast or so much slow, you can friends inform me in some chat box or group. I can understand कि भाई क्या सुधारना है क्या नहीं. Moving further, friends, there are few more things that we have to check on the scene. What is the eligibility of the borrower? That eligibility of the borrower have been.
I would like to request everyone to post their queries in the question tab and any of the reply in the question tab so that it can be an interactive session. Otherwise, it will be a boring one-side session. So, I would like to request all the participants to post their query, questions, reply in the question tab. Yes, please, Sammir sir, please continue, sir.
Thank you, Virag Shah. If you are looking on other things, there are few of the external reports or documents which you have to check. Let's say any confidential report and NOC from existing holder is available or not. If it's a BT case, means a balance transfer from other bank, which is in a very well trend, and even National Bank is working a fantastic way. जब से Supreme Court का judgment आया, friends, that even a private bank have to have a mortgage in their any kind of home loan account and even they are working in a very good way. And even एसएस बैंक के बहुत बड़ी स्कीम होती है एंडिंग में जब रिटेल लोन का पीएफ जीरो होता है, बहुत कम होता है. At that time, if they are getting such a loan to their portfolio, whether NOC have been received from that banker or the property papers have been received or not, and if they have been received, it has been properly charged, उसपे क्रेडिट हुआ कि नहीं हुआ है, एंड जो इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी उस बैंकर के नाम पे थी वो वापस से इस बैंक के नाम पे ट्रांसफर हुई है कि नहीं हुई है. ये बहुत छोटी छोटी मिस्टेक है फ्रेंड्स. अगर एक बार ये भूल होती है बहुत मुश्किल हो सकती है. CIBIL report, I would say, is there any kind of adverse comments or score? Valuation of securities have been made proper. You have to, even if you are in the same city in which bank has been allocated to you, you can know that ना हाँ उस जगह पे उस वैल्यू क्या होगी प्रॉपर्टी की, उसके फोटोग्राफ्स भी अटैच होने से मालूम पड़ता है. अगर आप बाहर के सिटी में हो, you can use few of the websites like makan.com, myproperty.com. there are many more websites are there जहाँ पे आप देख के आप एनालिसिस कर सकते हो कि जो वैल्यूएशन बिल्डर ये वैल्यू ने दी उसके आसपास के दिख रहे नहीं दिख रहे. 10-20% हम समझ सकते हैं, बट इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक दैट कि आटे में नमक नहीं नमक में आटा है, वो नहीं होना चाहिए फ्रेंड्स. सेम में क्रेडिट रेटिंग इंटरेक्शन हुआ कि नहीं हुआ है, ड्यू डिलिजेंस रिपोर्ट सर्टिफिकेट आया है, इज देयर अ मल्टीपल फंडिंग और अ कंसोर्टियम फंडिंग फॉर अ क्लाइंट और नॉट, whether a waiting of a legal documents has been made by legal expert or not. If I'm talking about disbursement friends, their client master and CBS properly recorded, verify that disbursement done only after compliance of all terms. Mostly what happens in today's era friends, you will note that now mostly the loan has been sanctioned by the higher authority. Let's say there are many ना centralized system जिसको हम RAP बोलते हैं, सब कुछ बोलते हैं, वहां से सिंगल पॉइंट से ही लोन सैंक्शन होती है बैंक की, पर डिसबर्स ब्रांच करता है. अगर ऊपर से सैंक्शन होकर अगर ब्रांच डिसबर्स कर रहा है तो जो भी कंडीशंस लेट डाउन की गई सैंक्शन लेटर में वो प्रॉपर्ली अप्रूव हुई है कि नहीं हुई है, whether acceptance of the borrowers confirming the terms and conditions of sanction is obtained or not, and even home loan or term loan to be disbursed directly to the builder or owner or supplier. In one case we have verified बैंक भी सेम थी, जिससे बिल्डर ने लोन ली, जिससे बोरोवर ने लोन ली, होम लोन ली, उसने बिल्डर ने मेजर लोन लिया और फिर बोरोवर ने करंट लोन ली. जो भी पैसे दिए गए फ्रेंड्स, असली में जब लोन सैंक्शन होम लोन के वो पैसे जाने चाहिए थे बिल्डर के लोन अकाउंट में, और आई वुड से एस्क्रो अकाउंट को रेरा में होता सबमिट, वो जा रहा है उसके करंट अकाउंट में, एंड जैसे करंट अकाउंट में जा रहा है पैसा बिल्डर डाइवर्ट कर दे रहा है, एंड इट इज कॉल्ड एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ डबल फंडिंग. तो कहीं डबल फंडिंग तो नहीं हो रहा है, टेक केयर ऑन दैट पार्ट. इवन पोस्ट डिसबर्समेंट इंस्पेक्शन प्रॉपर्ली हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. Few of the things on a review, monitoring or supervision by a banker, whether sanction or renewal is as per bank's policy or not, whether stock inspection unit visit reports have been made or not friends, whether there is a submission of stock statement even in due time. उनका रजिस्टर मेंटेन करते हो लोग बहुत बार फ्रेंड्स, पूरा रजिस्टर चेक करो, रैंडमली फ्यू ऑफ द अकाउंट्स का स्टॉक स्टेटमेंट चेक करो कैसे बनाया गया, इसमें स्टैंपिंग प्रॉपर्ली है कि नहीं है, बैंक ने एक्सेप्ट सही तरीके से किया है, ऐसा तो नहीं सब एंट्री एक साथ हो गई है. तो मोस्टली क्या जितने का वो सब एंटर करते हैं. तो लेट से किसी को अगस्त में आना चाहिए स्टेटमेंट, उसके एंट्री नवंबर में हुई भी है, तो कुछ तो काला है. आपके दिमाग में सवाल आना चाहिए दया कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. द ड्राइंग फॉर हैविंग कैलकुलेटेड प्रॉपर और नॉट. अगर मैं सीसी की बात करूं, मेजर फंडिंग मैक्सिमम फंडिंग क्या दे सकती है बैंक, सीसी अमाउंट, सीसी लोन अमाउंट और ड्राइंग पावर अमाउंट विच इज लोअर. तो वही उसने प्रोसेस फॉलो किया कि नहीं किया है. What about the operational data and financial statements? What about the various registers maintained at the bank like insurance, stock statement, stationery अच्छे से maintain करती नहीं करती, with the scrutiny of exceptional transactions have been made, what are the interest or penal interest have been booked or not, what are the turnover in account which is commensurate with the annual projection. We already discussed on this thing. If you're talking about few of the things like review, monitoring, supervision, that in a consortium meetings minutes and exchange of information within the bank have been noted or not, the management explanation of unusual items or large transactions have been booked or not, is there any over limit in TODs or any comments by the inspectors or auditors. Friends, Swati ma'am have already discussed about the glance of NPA account. I'm not discussing on that part. Can someone mention that if you are doing, let's say friends, if you are doing any I got some questions from Jay Poparji that, sir, before starting audit, what kind of reports we should obtain from bank, like last year as FAR tax audit. So first of all, banker will send you the last auditor name. Ask him for the NOC. You can mail them and have a discussion over call. Since this year we have received the bank audit where you were the auditor last year. Kindly provide as NOC. जितने भी audits हुए हैं बैंक में, as I have discussed earlier, for example, concurrent audit, stock audits of some client, revenue audit, कोई अगर बड़ी बैंक है उसके अगर किसी क्लाइंट का एएसएम चल रहा हो, एजेंसी फॉर स्पेशल मॉनिटरिंग, जहाँ पे 250 करोड़ से ऊपर फंडिंग होता है, उसका एएसएम होता है, तो वो हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है. So few of the things we have to check on that. बहुत बार होता है कि उनका आरबीआई का ऑडिट भी आया होगा, खास करके मांगना है. सेम में उनके ब्रांच का इंटरनल ऑडिट, और एक तो वो रिपोर्ट तो लेना है उन्होंने क्या सामने रिप्लाई किया, कंप्लाई जो किया है वो क्या किया गया है. बहुत आपको मिलेगा कि बैंकर लिख दिया कंप्लाई के सामने हमने ये पूरा कर दिया, तो होता नहीं है. Hope Jayashree, it is perfect. Amoj is mentioning hold for that. What purpose? I don't know. Raju so much writing. Any more questions, friends? It is most welcome. Friends, if you are doing a cash verification of any account, always have a surprise. कैसे आपको पहले से बैंकर को नहीं बोलना कि मैं आज ही लूंगा, जाओ कभी भी ना, 2-3 दिन में उसको अचानक 3 में बोलोगे आज हमने कैश गिनते चलेगा ना, it will make some important with that. We always count the cash note, but whether you are even verifying the decoy note, special, what is decoy note or decoy currency in a bank, a special set of notes have been kept aside which has been mentioned in the register which they are not using for any time. वो क्या होता है, जब कोई भी चोर अगर चोरी करता है और वो अगर डेकोय नोट भी साथ में लेके जाता है, तो डेकोय नोट जितने भी डकैती जो नोट हैं, अगर वो यूज कर रहा है बंदा, तो उससे आप ट्रैक कर सकते हो कि रुपए कहाँ यूज हुए हैं, तो उससे कभी मालूम पड़ता है. पर लोग मोस्टली भूल जाते हैं. Whether the stationery of a bank have been traceable or not, मालूम तो पड़े. Moving further, friends, few of the analytic tools we can check. One is a CAIIB, that is CAT, I would say. Software like IDEA and ACL allows auditor to analyze large data sets efficiently, which identify trends and even anomalies in account. Friends, always remember one thing: if you are not even using these tools, at least use a spreadsheets properly. There are few of the data visualization tools like platforms such as Tableau and Microsoft Power BI, business intelligence, which helps auditors to visualize data patterns and insights effectively. Few of the SaaS software like Statistical Analysis System and SPS, that is Statistical Package for the Social Science, are used for sophisticated statistical monitoring for this hypothesis testing. If I'm talking about analytical tools, how can you forget spreadsheet programs, that is Microsoft Excel? Because it is, there was some interview and one of the developer of Excel says कि जितना एक्सेल अभी हम यूज करते हैं ना, वो एक्चुअल एक्सेल का 2 से 5% भी नहीं है. सो काइंडली नोट कि कितना बड़ा और भयानक टूल्स होगा एक्सेल का. So Microsoft Excel stands as a cornerstone tool for data analysts and financial professionals, which offers a robust platform for what, friends? Robust platform for organizing, analyzing, and visualizing the data. It advances features such as pivot tables, which enables users to summarize extensive data sets with ease, while the application's powerful financial modeling function allows for intricate economic way of doing a work. Friends, what happens most of the times or many times, we do not use the things in a proper manner, which is going to make our work quite clumsy, quite hard. So how we can do that? Friends, if you want to complete that in a proper manner ना, always note one thing कि हमें अगर हम एक्सेल यूज कर रहे हैं तो उसमें कुछ बेसिक फॉर्मूला हमें ध्यान रखना चाहिए, तो आपको काम आएगा. बहुत आपको बैंकर बोलेगा सर आपको लोन की फाइल चाहिए, मिल जाएगी सर, पूरा डेटा सेट है, बस वो .txt में। सर आप उसको कैसे काम करोगे? यू शुड नो, उसको आपको एक्सेल में उसको कन्वर्ट करनी है, आपको CSV फाइल बनानी है, उस सब काम करो, आपको अच्छा रहेगा, नहीं तो मुश्किल में आओगे फ्रेंड्स। There are few more analytical tools like business intelligence software like BI tools, which integrate data from various sources, which providing comprehensive reporting and analytical features. Like you can say there's a collection, data engineering, storage, which analyze and give a report. Friends, these tools are quite, I would say, expensive, but yes, very much helpful. And if you're using this thing, it is going to help you in a business of a CEO. They are called as a predictive analysis. These are used to forecast future trends based on historical data, aiding in risk management and management. Sometimes bank ask you that now the limit of a bank cash account deposit, or I would say cash retention limit, is only 50 lakh rupees. And they ask you that you have to mention that every Friday, every Wednesday, क्या balance था bank account का. And you find in mostly bank is always keeping a fund more than 50 lakh. कभी 1 करोड़ रखते, 2 करोड़, 3 करोड़. आप जब बैंकर से पूछो ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, तो क्या बोलेगा आपको? सर हम क्या करें, सर गाड़ी नहीं आती बैंक की लेने के लिए, सर लोग कैश डिपॉजिट करते पर मिलता नहीं कुछ भी, हमें सामान कैसे कर सकते हैं? प्लीज नोट और काइंडली नोट फ्रेंड्स, you have to note and specifically report this thing. Even LFA is a very good tool. जो हमने काम नहीं किया ना, वो मत लिखो। अगर वो भी लिखोगे जो हमने नहीं काम किया, आप फंस सकते हो। These are used to forecast future trends. In this, I am talking about predictive analysis, friends. These tools are used to forecast future trends based on historical data, aiding in risk assessment and management of the things. They can be a very good kind of predictive analysis. Even in few banks, few of the industries, I would say, have been blacklisted. The bank do not do a funding. hey, हमने ऐसी तो कोई पार्टी को फंड नहीं कर दिया, तो बाकी कुछ काम नहीं हुआ. Then is a database management tools, that is DBMS. SQL structured query language is essential for querying relational databases, allowing for detailed financial examination on that part. The risk assessment tools, there can be two things. One is by a tool and by your knowledge and by analysis skill you have. Such are models which helps in identifying and evaluating the risks and in prioritizing audit work based on the risk profile of the bank. Friends, kindly note, when I was working as an intern before 14 to 15 years with my principal, just a moment please. Sorry friends. When I was working with my principal, so what happened at that time, friends, that there was some senior person over there who is a paid staff but was not that much effective. My principal sent me for some kind of stock audit with some client, where it was a cumulative work for a stock audit and internal audit. We are doing a stock audit and it was a Mahashivratri day, and there was a bhang and all these stuff were prepared at the client place because it was near Gujarat or something like that. That person have disappeared for more than 4 hours, and we all were searching and all were intense कि क्या हुआ, कहाँ गए हमारे सर. And I was leading the team. When he came back, all the audit work has been completed. There was very minute queries because the client was very good and we were doing such an audit on every quarter basis. When we asked him where were you, he said, sir, I was there only and I was doing the audit, and there's a variation of 50 lakh quantity. Me, including the store manager and the person who is managing that branch, got up from our chair and were in a tense. 50 lakh quantity ki bhul, it makes some sense. I'm just giving you a random figure on that part, friends. When we have evaluated the thing, we have noted that there was some zero mistake in his writing. So that was not 50 lakh, it was only 5 lakh difference. Quantity difference was there. Then quite way we got relaxed that at least 45 lakh to nikal gaya. Then came a picture. We have asked him क्या चीज की query है. Then after few minutes he says कि जो sticker होता है ना, वो sticker में difference था. And friends, one sticker cost was 5 paisa only. How much the value of a sticker? 5 paisa each. So 5 lakh quantity into 5 paisa, which comes to 25,000 rupees. And the total stock of a company was something 48 CR. So do you think the thing which he have evaluated was some risky? I have asked him how did you counted the quantity. सबने भी एक एक करके चेक किया ना. Dear respected member, kindly note you have to assess the risk and identify and evaluate the same and know how the work you are taking on a priority basis, yes or no. If they're not taking such a thing in a proper manner, it is going to, I would say, hurt the audit planning. Going further, friends, what are the essential tools for bank auditors? Few of the essential tools we know about the IFRS, we know about the GAAP. So they have to encompass with a different set of software for data analysis such as ACL and IDEA, which facilitate the examples of large volumes of transaction anomalies. And these are the softwares for a larger branch of a bank, kindly note. Auditors also rely on checklists and guidelines aligned with GAAP, IFRS, and regulatory compliance. If you have been allocated an audit, whether checklists have been filmed already and you have communicated that checklist to banker कि हम जब आ रहे हैं ये तो documents तैयार होने चाहिए. If it is not done, it is not proper way of doing an audit. And once you are sending a checklist, your even audit planning should be flexible. कुछ मिल रहा है कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, आपको हिसाब से flexible रहना पड़ेगा, friends. We have to always check for risk assessment framework and cybersecurity tools in a bank. And the most important thing, how the server has been kept. उसमें जो guidelines है वहाँ पे पानी वानी रहता है नहीं रहता है, वो साफ सफाई है कि नहीं है, बैकअप प्रॉपर्ली बैंक का हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है. अगर कोई एम्प्लॉय छोड़ के चला गया बैंक से, some employee have left, it may be due to resignation or due to transfer or due to I would say retirement, उसकी जो भी आईडी है वो कितने दिन से उन्होंने डिसेबल नहीं की है. बिकॉज प्लीज नोट रखो कि एम्प्लॉय छोड़ रहा है कंपनी को या ट्रांसफर ले रहा है, बाकी सब बंदे उसके दोस्त वहीं पे हैं, तो उसकी आईडी के मिसयूज तो नहीं हो रही. So even risk assessment frameworks and cybersecurity tools are equally critical for safeguarding against fraud and financial inaccuracies, thereby ensuring the banks adherence to fiscal and legal standards on that part. Friends, I would suggest to at least read LFAR in a proper manner. If you are not reading LFAR in proper manner, it is not going to help you. फिर आपके दिमाग में सेट होगी ये 25 पॉइंट तो मुझे देखने रिप्लाई करने के लिए, और हमेशा हम yes no लिख देते हैं. हर बार yes no लिखने का बंद करो फ्रेंड्स. हैव अ डिटेल ऑन दैट पार्ट, थोड़ा डिटेल लिखो आपने क्या किया था क्या नहीं, अच्छा रहेगा. सर बहुत बार जब ऑनलाइन होता है उसमें हमें जगह नहीं मिलती डालने के लिए. यू कैन ऐड ए एडिशनल सीट एंड यू कैन पुट ऐसे अटैचमेंट. आप वो ऑडिटर को मेल कर दो, उसको ये ईमेल कर दो, बैंक को भी, जेडो को भी और स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर को भी. एटलीस्ट आप रिलैक्स हो गए उसके हिसाब से. फ्रेंड्स, what are the few technology tools used? One is the audit management software. For example, solutions like Water, Clovers, Timmet, and Regent Highbond streamline the entire audit process. There are many companies who are providing you this kind of softwares. You can use that. And from planning and execution to reporting, follow has been done over from there. Whether you're using any blockchain analysis tools, I have discussed at the initial phase of our lecture that blockchain technology plays a very vital role. First of all, it's a decentric level and multiple people certify the same. So for any institution involving cryptocurrency transactions, so tools such as elliptic and chain analysis are essential for tracing blockchain activities. And whether any bank has any account with such a blockchain companies or not. CMS, I would say continuous monitoring software. It even provide you with the ongoing oversight of financial transactions and operations to detect exceptions in real time An example being few of the softwares. Friends, we have discussed a various thing on that part. We have discussed in details. Friends, kindly note that when we are talking on all these points, there may be a different techniques and different models of and different methods with the different auditors. This is not a complete sheet. There may be a different strategy may be used by the different auditors. Please have a checklist even at the end of reporting and whether all the report have been completed and checked or not. What happens many times, banker will tell you सर कुछ नाश्ता करके आता है खाना खा के आते क्या खाओगे क्या मंगाओ उनका वो हैबिट हो गया. I'm not telling not to eat anything. You can even tell the banker if they're asking sir आप कब तक हो यहाँ पे एक सवाल आएगा. Don't say we are in hurry of completing a work of in 2 or 3 days or 4 days. I always says sir मैं कोई busy नहीं हूँ बिल्कुल free हूँ. Whenever you will give all the documents my audit will complete I will go. Even if you will tell me that you have to sit even after 10th I will sit over here. Till that time my work is not coming I'm not going to move on. When he heard such a thing, he understands that nah, this auditor is not going to support on that part. Even that can be possible many times that nah, he will be rude. Someone have told me, friends, someone have informed me कि समीर जी एक बार तो बैंकर इतना बिगड़ा था मेरे पे जब ऐसा बोला और उसकी मैंने बात नहीं मानी तो he says कि इवन ऑडिटर को पानी भी नहीं पिलाएगा कोई. जो भी होना होना है. We cannot dilute any of our services. We cannot compromise our report. Please note. So at the end, friends, Auditor's Toolkit equips auditor with the advanced procedures and tools for detailed financial analysis and detecting the irregularities, which is very much crucial for maintaining transparency and preventing fraud in the banking sector. It underscores the commitment to accountability and trust in financial institutions. Friends, even know कि बैंकर है ना वो 1-2 साल में 3 साल में ट्रांसफर हो जाएगा. आपकी रिपोर्ट वहीं पे उस ब्रांच के लिए रहने वाली है. बी प्रिसाइज. ये मत लेके चलो दिमाग में कि मुझे एमओसी पास करनी ही है. अगर आप ये लेके चलते हो तो आप गलत जा रहे हो. काइंडली नोट फ्रेंड्स दिस थिंग. अगर हम ये सोचते हैं कि हमें एमओसी पास करनी बैंक में, ये एमओसी पास तो अच्छी बात है पर योर एमओसी नॉट ओनली जस्टिफाई कि आप काम सही करो खराब कर रहे हो. प्लीज नोट फ्रेंड्स. हो सकता है कि आप जो काम कर रहे हो बहुत अच्छा है आपको कुछ मिला नहीं है. ऑलवेज कीप अ डिटेल्ड वर्किंग पेपर विथ यू. इवन जहाँ पे आपको लगता है आपने मैनेजर को सर्टिफिकेट लेना है एमआरएल लेना है मैनेजमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेटिव लेटर लेके रखो. एक बार आप बैंक छोड़ दिया आपका रिपोर्ट कंक्लूड हो गया आप कौन मैं कौन. प्लीज नोट this is a bitter truth. Mostly 90% of professional seniors accept this thing. So we have to be precise, we have to be specific, and we have to be very much careful on this part. Friends, Suresh Surana ji asked, will both the presentations be shared? Yes sir, I will share my presentation and even Swati ma'am will even share her. Friends, this side says Sammir Chaudhary. It's 7:10 for 20 minutes. Our platform is open to discuss with you all. As discussed with by Virag ji, this is a channel called Fintech Chanakya. I am sharing knowledge in a easiest language on YouTube. If you want, you can subscribe me. Just even contact details, we can be in touch. Friends, I am CS Sammir Chaudhary. In case of any doubt or query, I am happy to discuss with you all. Thanks a lot. Any more doubt or any further doubt, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir. There are so many requests for the presentation and both the presentation I would like to say. So please share your presentation whenever comfortable. We'll share with the participants.
Yes, sir.
And participants would like to request everyone to post their query on any of the topic of bank branch audit. Sammir ji will take that one by one. We
Yes,
have
it will be.
not a question, but we have appreciation for Sammir Bhai. That very informative lectures are comprising all aspects of the bank branch audit from CA Divyang Shuklaji. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. I would say Divyang sir is a senior to me, and way back before 15 years, I have learned the bank audit from him. Thank you, Divyang
Oh,
sir, for that.
any more query from any participants? If there is no query, we can conclude the session with the vote of thanks for our both the speaker and also for the participants for active participation. So I think we don't have any questions, sir. So we can conclude our today's session, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful deliberation and a colorful and attractive presentation, I would like to say.
Thank you, sir.
You have created a wonderful presentation. So thank you once again for the same. Thank you participants for the interactive participation. We have a great participation on LinkedIn as well, sir, and on YouTube as well, and also on obviously on GoToWebinar where we are taking questions for interaction. It's easy to take from one of the platforms, so we are taking all the question here. But people are watching there, and we are sure that it may cross 1,000+ views because we will third session. This is the third session open and free for all for the bank branch audit for this season, and for the both the past session has almost crossed 1,000+ views on YouTube, and we are sure that this session also will be cross more than 1,000 views as well. So once again, thank you, Sammir sir, for the wonderful deliberation. Would like to say all best wishes for all your future endeavors in the profession and all for the profession as well in branch, in region, whatever your endeavor is there. And you make us proud by doing the great work for the members and the students at large. Thank you once again, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir.
And thank you, Swati ma'am, as well for sparing her time despite her busy schedule and the traveling. So thank you to Swati ma'am as well. And thank you, Sammir sir, for arranging Swati ma'am session. So the credit goes to you also. Thank you.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you, sir.
With this, we are concluding our today's session because there is no question as well. Only request for the presentation, and we have taken all the questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.